Welcome to I Heart Geek. And welcome to another movie episode of I Heart Geek. Excellent! No? Nobody? Yes. We are going to beat everybody to the presses because everyone that's in this room right now rented Bill and Ted's Face the Music. And
wait, you rented it?
We
I
don't know. We don't talk about that. No, you bought it. We bought it. There you go. Nobody pirated anything.
Nope.
Oh,
All legal.
We don't do that. Yes, I did.
I owned it.
And it was absolutely outstanding. And I'm hoping we're beating everybody to the presses because, we start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this should be out the night of the release, I hope.
Yeah.
So I am Dub, and I'm your producer, and I'm going to be wrangling cats today. And let's see. Let's get to the people we know on the show normally. To my right, we have Miss Courtney. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Steve, introduce somebody else.
Wow. That I think that's the best intro we've ever had. Okay, below Courtney, we have Miss Satomi. How are you doing today?
We actually almost had simul sneeze. I just kept thinking, don't call him me. I'm going to sneeze. And I must have given it to Courtney. So thank you for taking that, girl.
Wow.
Woo!
Is there pepper in between the New York and Vegas experience
I
here?
guess so.
You know what? It must be our cats. You said you're going to be hurting cats. So, we're just taking the allergy. Heck yeah.
Okay, and below me we have longtime friend of the show, former panelist, and back because we miss you so much. We have the Black Geek himself, Coral. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. We're talking about cats all over the place.
Oh boy!
So,
this is everybody flipping out. Yeah, cats. Oh boy! You always know cat people because doesn't matter if it's the thousandth cat they've seen today. It's like it's a cat.
I'm a dog.
They're adorable.
Yeah,
I will fight you.
Okay, and two people that have been mentioned on the show at least 20 or 30 times.
I probably say your name every episode.
Almost every episode. First off, we have our good friend Christina. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I think cats are adorable, but I am a dog person.
I have a question because you mention him every time on your letters. Who's Sean, and why is this sounds like some kind of weird experience? Because you always bring up Sean, and it doesn't sound like he wants to be brought up. Who is Sean?
Sean is king of the Guinness World Book of Records for mustaches. I think he's shooting
it's
for
pretty
that.
epic right now.
It's like down past his stomach at this point. He is my husband. We've been married for 27 years, and the fact that anybody has put up with me for that long is a miracle.
Well, I put up with you for apparently almost 20. So does that?
But you thought it was 13, so I don't think you get credit for putting up with me.
Whatever you need to do. And the guy that I have known longer, probably one of my oldest friends, and the guy that I originally watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure with, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, we have Mr. Skeeter. How are you doing, bud?
I am outstanding. Even better today than I was yesterday.
Why you better? Is it because you watch Bill and Ted?
It is actually. I got the.
You did this
doing excellent.
Too. Yes.
So first warning to everybody, and then I'm going to kind of let us loose a little bit. There may be spoilers. So we're not going to give the big spoiler at the end. And if you hadn't figured out the big spoiler within the first 10 minutes of the show, I don't know. It was pretty obvious what the big spoiler was. But we're not going to give it away. But we're going to try not to do spoilers, but we will do minor spoilers because we all watched the movie and we're going to talk about it.
So listen at your own peril.
Yeah, because otherwise this would be a 10-minute show.
Right.
Yeah, there's too much to talk about.
There's way too much to talk about. Let's before we start, I like to do this. Tell me, what is your thoughts on the movie itself? Give me real quick. Let's start with Christina. What did you think of this? And what kind of expectation did you go in, and what did you come out with?
So don't hate me. But I had very low expectations because I am not a fan of Bill and Ted in general. I always call it Bill and Ted's the most excellent ripoff because this girl is a Whovian. So, you know, how original, somebody who travels through time in a box. But I was pleasantly surprised. I actually enjoyed it. Like I said, I watched it twice today. I laughed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the first 10 minutes, well, about the first 7 minutes, I was a little worried. And then it just got really good from there.
Yeah. Skeeter, what about you, bud?
You know, I was expecting. I watched all three of them. I had to get caught up. I had to get taken back. But one of the biggest things was like I just wanted the soundtrack. I wanted the soundtrack of my childhood back. It was crazy, but yeah, definitely that first 7 minutes, I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I got to say this. My expectations were so low when I came in. I saw the first 7 minutes. I'm like, okay, we're okay with this. So I thought this was going to be horrific. I loved it. The Black Geek, what did you think?
I got to tell you guys, honestly, Courtney knows this. I went into this expecting a train wreck. Came out of it feeling like I was on a hang glider. So
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
it beat all my expectations. Not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, no, it shouldn't be.
No.
But definitely was a fun movie.
Yeah. Courtney, what about you?
I'm like everybody else. I went in scared it was going to be a disaster, and it's surprisingly wonderful.
Yeah. Satomi, you got anything different on that one?
Well, I mean, I like Christina, am a Whovian, but I loved the first one. I wasn't nuts about the second one. And this one I was like, well, we'll see what happens. First 7 minutes, I enjoyed. I thought it was completely in the spirit of the original, and I was laughing my rear end off from beginning to end, and I actually was crying at the end. Tears of joy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I loved it.
Let's start with the elephant in the room. The first thing we see is the wedding scene when you know that Bill and Ted, they haven't made it, and everything that we learned at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey is, let's just forget about that because none of that really happened. Or something. It happened, but it didn't happen.
I literally texted Dub and I said, the wedding song.
Okay. I've got to say this with the wedding song, when it comes on, I'm like, oh, this is terrible. And then you start listening to it and you're like, that's really good. It's
actually really good.
There is some cool elements to this.
There's definitely that whole segment is a love letter to musicians. Half of what happens in there, if you're not a musician, you're not going to get it. I should say. It
hits close to home. If you're a failed musician, like, well, most of us in this room, and unlike the successful singers in this room,
we've all had failures.
But it's definitely a. This is a little more autobiographical than I'm comfortable with right now.
He literally texted me this morning. He's watching it going, this is just hit too close to home. And I wrote back, I'm like, are you enjoying it? He goes, yes.
In a question, yes?
Yes. ...
But, you know, and then they bring in Missy. And if you guys remember from the first movies, Missy was Ted's, or when was he Bill's? She was Bill's
mom.
Yeah. And then they go through the whole wedding toast. And it goes from Bill's
babysitter,
mother-in-law or babysitter, to the prom date, to the mother-in-law, to Ted's mother-in-law, to finally stepmother, then finally going around and marrying Bill's sister-in-law, which made his dad, and the way they were explaining it, which makes my dad your own son.
His own son.
I mean, so before we go on, let's talk about the wedding scene for a second. What hit you guys the best about the wedding song? Anybody wants to grab it, go ahead and take it.
Did anybody fly into that thinking that it was a funeral at first? Like I kind of got
wow,
this
there's some
whole
insight into you,
piece
Peter.
at the beginning, like we were coming, like just the tent. I was like, oh God, who died? Like
I would say that's a brightly dressed funeral, though.
Like, right. And then all of a sudden, like I'm all okay. This is not a funeral. This is a wedding. And then it just broke open, and I was like, oh yes.
I think I probably didn't go into that because I knew that Deacon was marrying. I had read somewhere before that it starts off with the wedding. Yeah. So, like, I'm like, okay, this is what I read. And I mean, that's as far as I got. So I put the rest away because I didn't really want to read any spoilers. So no funeral for me.
I'm sure it was makeup, but if there's ever someone that did not age well, it's Missy, who was
Missy.
Oh. You watch those movies. You watch those original movies. I'm like, that is the hottest girl in the world. Because we were. Me and Skeeter were right about puberty time when that came out. It's like, oh my gosh. Missy. And then you're like,
well, you also have to remember, though, that in general, actors are older than the age they're playing. Yeah. So she actually looks amazing for her age.
And I would say it's great that they brought her back.
I love that they brought her back.
Yeah.
Everybody that they brought back. It was just great.
And celebrated her age. Like they didn't try too hard. They didn't, CG anything. They didn't try too hard. Sorry, I'm going to totally stand up for older women.
I think that they gave makeup to her to make her look older.
She's 62 years old. I mean, she looks pretty good for 62.
Shut up.
Yeah, she's 62. But you also have to remember that they make, like, when Bill and Ted go into the future, they say this is 50-year-old Bill. Well, Keanu Reeves, like, 55 now anyways. So the ages are all messed up.
They're all messed up.
This is the first time I've seen Keanu Reeves look any older or any different than the original movie. And I think they had to do makeup to make him look older because you watch the stuff afterwards I watched the Comic-Con panel and I'm like, he looks young again.
He's a vampire.
It's the beard.
It's the beard.
It's the beard.
It is the beard.
It's the beard.
You're absolutely right.
If you look at the scenes where he has the little goatee beard, he looks younger than he does.
Yes.
Even when he's prison swole up.
Oh my god.
Yeah. We're gonna get back to that because I have something I've got to talk about on that one when we get to that. Okay, so I thought that was a really fitting and touching George Carlin homage they did right there.
Oh yeah.
That's the one reason I didn't want to see this movie because I'm like, how do you do it without George?
I thought they handled it so well.
I thought it was classy.
I thought it was beautiful.
I thought that what's her name that played his daughter? What's her name? She from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that girl.
The character's name is Kelly.
I feel like she was definitely sat down with Kelly Carlin, and if you've ever seen Kelly Carlin, that's how she acts. I feel like she was definitely homaging for George at that point.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I was surprised that I actually teared up in a Bill and Ted
It was touching.
But it really, because I love George Carlin big time, and it just really, like, my little heart went, oh.
And can I say this? Thank God they used young-looking George Carlin from the movies rather than
the first one,
rather than the old George Carlin, which, I mean, that's my George Carlin that I love. But if I'm going to watch Bill and Ted, I want young George Carlin because I feel like he should have never stepped out of that age.
You need Rufus.
As far as those movies go. He was Rufus at that. Yeah. But I thought that was a really nice, that was touching. It bothered me at first when they go in the time machine and it's not the TARDIS looking thingy anymore. It's
not the phone booth.
It's an egg.
The first one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like,
but it makes sense that they would have progressed
improved,
because it's 2700 as opposed to last time. When was it? I don't remember. But
Skeet, you watched them today. What's the first time period? Do you remember the first future? Does it say?
I don't remember it saying.
What is when they see Carlin on the bridge?
When they see Excellent Adventure and they go to the future. What year was that?
Later.
Oh my gosh, I can't even remember.
You just
I wonder if they don't say. Maybe they don't say.
I think they do say it when they the first time that they meet the superior ones when they go on, and then they're like, be well, party on.
Yeah.
So, because right in the small corner, I believe it does. I just can't remember off the top of my head.
Maybe
I don't think that's really that important, but I do.
No.
But yeah, you could see that their society has progressed since. And yes, part of that's CGI, but I think part of that was a conscious choice to make it look like, okay, well, you know what? Just because you're in the future doesn't mean, okay, everything stops now and everything's perfect. Nope, they're going to keep.
Think how far we've come in the last 30 years.
And then we hit 2020 and it didn't. No, sorry.
Well,
sorry. That's my last 2020 jokes today. I kind of promise.
Except it's not a joke.
No, it's not.
Oh, you're killing me.
Maybe we switch to the oval pots so we can have a most excellent
adventure. Yeah. No, but honestly, if they would have kept with that and they would have done the egg the rest of the time, I would have been out.
Really?
I don't know if I would have been out, but I did love that they did the phone booth.
We had to have the phone
I want Bill and Ted themselves in the phone booth. I don't care about the rest of the people.
Yeah.
I want Bill and Ted in the phone booth. Because otherwise it doesn't feel... I'm like, what am I watching? And this is too much of a reboot. This is now a Kevin Smith reboot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can see that. Well, I thought they really honored the previous previous
movies. They absolutely did.
Yeah, I think I would have been okay with it, with them showing the phone booth the way they did. And then, with the egg, because they showed the phone booth, they showed Carlin. It's showing that as an homage. And then if they would have moved forward with the egg, I'd have been okay with that. Because at least they would have shown it.
I think they made the smarter choice.
Or if they would have shown it
and circuit into it.
If they would have had it there, they would have had it there with the broken antenna at the top.
Billy and Thea needed the egg.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the princesses for a second. When I watched this,
2688. Thank you, Skeeter.
Okay.
Thanks, Skeet.
So it was like almost 100 years, I want to say, or 50.
Yeah, it was
50 or 100. So
that's a long time.
So that's progress.
So the princesses, we had the princesses, and I had to look. I'm like, were these the original? They weren't.
No.
But I'm like, but they looked. They had the same eyes. They had the same expression. I'm like, I had to look up IMDb because I'm like, these have got to be the same girls. I remember these girls so much.
It was good casting.
But they did those girls. They never had a good part in the other movies ever. I mean, they had a couple of seconds that were okay. I thought they put them in enough that they were important, but not so much that they took over the plot. Now, more on that in a minute. Did you guys have any feelings one way or the other about the women as far as the princesses go?
I want to know where they went.
That's
me too.
I could see that as a
I want to see that as a Netflix
spin-off
series.
movie. I think, or it was, oh my gosh, that would be an amazing Netflix
That
series.
would be better than
I want to see what they were confronted with when they went gallivanting off with their older selves. Right?
Yeah, because
the different Bills and Teds they had.
I don't know if they cut it out of the movie or if that was a conscious choice. But I feel like there is at least a movie, but probably a Netflix series that is what they did, because they gave you enough that you wanted to see it.
Like,
they didn't tell you anything.
No.
I know that my brain already started writing where they could have went.
Nice.
Imagining these different adventures. So
and maybe they went back to England for a while to see if they still liked that and all that other stuff. They met up with Doctor Who. That's where you get your crossovers.
Well, but we do know that they did meet up with multiple Bill and Teds, because remember the older Bill and Ted said, were they here? They were, and then they weren't.
But they're not.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like they put enough there that it's definitely. I think they have that there as a placeholder. Is this going to make $100 million? If it does, guess what? We're getting a Netflix series or another movie.
Yeah.
Which would be epic to have a show of that style that have female leads.
Yeah. And that I feel like that's we talk about this on the show a lot, is being able to pass the torch without crapping on the original material and crapping on the original characters or the fans. I feel like they might have stumbled on the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because I will watch that movie and they're girls. Cool. They're not Bill and Ted. They're the princesses. Cool.
Yeah. So what are the princesses doing right now?
Yeah, and it's their own story and they're their own characters. I feel like they might have stumbled onto something right there. You guys, we're the first ones up on this. I'm telling you, if there's anybody in any Hollywood watching this, I don't even want to see it spliced. I want to see it as its own series.
Well, no, I'm saying here and there, like you could be in the middle of the series, exactly. And then they pop in one of the scenes from the film in the middle of it, and it's a chance for you to be like, oh my God, yeah, I remember that, and then they move on with the story.
You could run this 2 series without ever seeing Bill and Ted. You can see Bill or Ted once a season.
Well, yeah. I know you're going to segue into this, but if we're talking about a Netflix series, let's be honest. I want to see one with the kids. I think that there's that's where so I want to go next. There.
So well, okay. let me say this, and this is where I'm going to get heat. The girl that played Ted was absolutely and totally perfect. I've never seen she did an imitation without being a clone.
Yeah,
she was definitely honest. It was honest. It was definitely what Ted's daughter would have been. Yeah. Bill's daughter, on the other hand, while she's a perfectly fine actress, and if you've seen her other work, she's way better actress than what she showed.
Yeah,
I didn't believe her as the daughter. She's like, okay, well, she's just kind of she's dumb, but she's not. So
she could be taken. A little confusing. Could have a part of some of her personality could be from the princess, though.
Yeah, but let's be honest, nobody wanted to watch that.
I feel like it might have been the writing in general, because I've seen her in other things too, and I think she's a pretty good actress, and I don't think they gave her adequate material.
But she has the same material as the
her lines,
as Girl
though,
Ted.
when you think about it, she didn't have as many of the dudes.
She really did not have that many
phrases. She was kind of the straight man.
Yeah.
To Theo.
To a certain extent, Alex Winter is the straight man to Keanu Reeves.
You're right.
So it does kind of fit. But the other thing that I know, and not to say this is what happened, but she's actually Hugo Weaving's niece.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yep.
And that's why she got the part, because Hugo Weaving's a friend of Keanu Reeves for doing the Matrix movies.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how she got cast. Now,
all Hollywood is incestuous like that.
I'm sure she
agree. Right. Like I agree. She's a very good actress. If you guys have seen the Netflix TV show Hollywood, she's in that.
No, she's brilliant.
It is a completely 180 from the character she's playing in this. So the girl's got some chops on her.
Who does she play in Hollywood?
She plays the blonde starlet, the Patti LuPone and Rob Reiner's daughter.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I didn't even recognize her. Okay.
I love watching the light bulb go off over Satomi's head. It's like the most amazing thing.
I need to make my own little, Okay.
Little bubble.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, though, I mean, as far as Girl Ted, and I'll say it over both, I really can't imagine anybody coming in and doing a better job than that. But just, I mean, they obviously studied Bill and Ted.
They watched
after they got the part. Now, I was watching when they originally auditioned. Girl Ted, I don't know her name, so I apologize. But Girl Ted,
Billy. Or Thea.
Oh, that's right. That's right, because they named them after this
Theodora.
Way.
Theodora.
Yeah, so that's
Theodora's
actually
Billy.
Yeah,
is Bill's daughter.
So
okay, so you know who I'm talking about.
Girl Ted is Billy.
Girl Ted and girl.
But
Bill
she does. She I guess she didn't study the movies at all. She did, I guess, a 3-second take to hear what he sounded like and built the whole character off of that. From what I understand,
Billy.
Ted.
Girl Bill.
Girl
Billy.
Bill?
Yeah, Billy.
We're going with Billy.
Billy. There you go.
Blonde
I'm going to have trouble with this for the rest of the time. Brunette.
Blonde or brunette, yeah.
Okay, brunette is Billy.
Okay.
Blonde is Thea.
I'm going to have to write this down, but y'all know who I was talking about.
Thea is Bill's daughter. Billy is Ted's daughter.
I'm so confused.
Just say blonde or brunette.
If I say Girl Ted or Girl
that works.
Bill, that's, you know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
So which one are you talking about? Only listen to a clip.
I lost it. Girl
you
Ted.
lost it a long time ago.
Girl Ted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because the thing is, as an actor, that is one of your skills, is that if you hear something and you get a really clear picture of who that person is and you lock into it and you commit to it. I mean, Carl, you're an actor as well, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. You just fully commit to that. And if it works, it works. You know, if it's not working, that's when you need to like expand to your other toolbox. So, all right, thus endeth the lesson. Sorry, we got sorry.
Being talked down to by Satomi.
Well, we've got multiple actors in the room.
I can always tell the actors and stuff because when you're watching a movie or a series or you're having a conversation, if it's anything in an accent, you guys all start talking with an accent. You just kind of slide right into it and you don't even realize it.
Welcome
I have
to
no
my
idea
world.
what you're talking about. I think you're crazy.
There we go. To deal with that from us all the time.
So, what I want to talk about now is the part that I didn't like about the movie itself. And the more I think about it, the more I don't like it. Is the Bill and Ted going and visiting future Bill and Teds that don't really exist, but they do. They're different dimensions.
That didn't bother me.
I felt like you were rewriting history way too much on that because that didn't happen in any of the other two. I don't think they should have done that.
Yeah, but they had to do something different. They always went to the past.
Yeah. I mean, I get it, but at the same time.
So they have to go to the future this time.
And also, it was sort of coming from it's splintering off from like a nexus point.
Yeah.
Of that, 7:17 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the same concept in Doctor Who where you've got these fixed points in times and then everything else is malleable. So, or maybe I'm just buying it because I'm a Whovian.
I think that might be it. I mean,
okay.
our minds are bigger on the inside. So
yes, they are. Thank you, Christina. I love you already.
But I do got to say this out of all. And I want to hear what your guys' favorites are. But when they visited the future Bill and Ted's, who was your favorite? And I got to say this, the buff Bill and Ted made me question things about myself that I should never have to question. I'm like, wow. I don't know what this says about me, but you guys are beautiful like that. This is I don't know what to say. But I mean the characters.
We'll have a talk later, sir.
Right.
The characters were so hilarious.
Dub developed feelings for the prison yard Bill and Ted.
Right? All the Keanu, yeah. Bald Ted or bald Bill. No, we're good. But with the little goatee, yeah.
Does anybody know how
wasn't it?
And all that it killed me. I thought that was so well done.
It's a suit.
Yeah, I know it is, but
it was prosthetic.
No, Satomi's asking.
Oh yeah, it's like it's a samurai suit.
The reason I was asking though is like I actually saw at some point it looked like what do you call it? It looked like articulation. Yeah, in through the abs. Was somebody like back there with like a little Nike air pump? Like what was going on there? How did they do that?
It could
did they
be.
Like do it?
What color is the sky in your world? There, Satomi?
Did they do this prosthetic?
It's probably prosthetics, and it's probably done with either. Well,
like
it's probably done with silicone.
Yeah,
because it's lighter,
right.
And you can actually put. They could put like a bladder
like little
in there,
servos or something.
Yeah, they could put a bladder in there, which would make the muscles contract and do all that kind of stuff. They could do a lot now with movie makeup.
Impressive. It was impressive.
Yeah, but with the way that they talk to everybody, I thought they were just so brilliant. I'm sorry, who was talking?
Oh, I just want to know where I can get my suit. So
Spanx.
That's all. Wow.
Of course it's her.
Of course, yes.
Hey, they're not paying us. They're not paying us.
Hey, we didn't say what the store was. So we said one of them, but
so let me hear some of you guys. What are your favorites of the Bill and Ted's They Visit the Future, and why?
I'm an accent
or your
nerd.
least favorites, whichever one.
I'm an accent nerd, so I definitely love the English speaking Bill and Ted because they were so bad at it.
Oh, it was awful.
Well, I like that one too, but my favorite part of that was the pot-bellied drunken Keanu.
Yes.
Dude, lay off the.
For me, it was the balding Bill. It was the bald with like the Ben Franklin going on.
I've never seen Keanu Reeves with the pot belly, and he takes his shirt off and it just sprawls out. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm out.
And when he leaned back and did the scratching,
so good.
Yep.
So good.
Oh.
It was and
that was amazing.
We summer in the medieval times. It was just it was beautiful.
Why they even had the answers to that? I was like, okay.
Well, just the amount
of the vodka's dead.
The effort that they put into that deception was phenomenal.
Yeah. But and then when you see the surprise appearance, and I was like, oh my God, I love you, Dave.
So cruel, right?
And they were listening to a Dave Grohl song. And I'm like,
why are you in my house?
I pictured that Dave Grohl would be exactly like that if he caught you in your house. Why are you in my house?
Why are you in my house?
Dave Grohl is awesome because you're talking Tenacious D when he did
Satan,
greatest song in the world. I mean, he's the coolest.
Yep.
Skeeter, what about you? What was your favorite, bud?
I have to go with Prison Bill and Ted. I don't know why. I mean, the whole thing, them walking through the smoke, coming through the big walls,
like wrestlers.
And then just straight up, and then they're like, "What?
Not a song.
That weird dark song."
And then they're stomping in rhythm on the robot. They're like, I was just like, "This is real." Like, I was like,
"Yeah, it's everything."
Perfect.
Carl?
Mine is actually the first time we see them as the two losers.
Really?
I hate them
so much.
Oh, no. And I think that's why, because I love, like, the way that Ted was played. He was like, he wanted to fight. He was like, what?
Oh, my God.
Back here. I'll get you some.
That's right.
He's angry Ted.
He was so angry. I just lost it.
Performing at the Elks Lodge at 2 a.m.
And he was like, that's why you lost your wife. He was so angry at him.
You want to piece of me, Ted?
That whole scene was genius.
It really was.
That was genius. But they kept topping themselves. That's the thing. It was so funny that it's like by the end of it, see, you win. I will watch it again.
I'm not playing a contest. But this movie, I think, is going to be the best of the series. I think usually I'll watch a movie and then the longer I go after I watch it, the more I'm like, oh well, it's okay. Well, it's not as good as I remember. When I'm able to sit and watch a movie twice, it's like watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure at the theaters or Wayne's World at the theaters. It's like every time it just feels better. I feel like I think this is really going to bridge a lot of gaps between generations. My kids were like laughing. Hard.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now, one other character I have to bring up because I loved him so much, and that is what was his name?
Dennis
the Death Robot. Dennis McCoy.
Dennis Caleb McCoy.
Which, by the way, since we are a geek show, he is Zaz on Gotham.
Yeah.
Same person. I don't know who thought of that character. Because that character could have been so boring and just drawn out.
Sorry for shooting you.
It was so good.
I'm
and
sorry
his eyes said so much.
Yes, his silent acting was epic. Just his facial, just that first moment where when he shoots the wrong people and just that darting back and forth.
Uh-oh.
I hope no one saw that.
Oh no. Like a 30 second. Oh no. I like the part where Death turns to him and goes, You can't just rock. You have to earn the right to rock.
That accent, that Ingmar Bergman accent that Death has.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my
God. It's so fantastic.
I can't even pretend to fake it. It's so good.
Oh, and he's the original Death.
He is the original Death?
He is the original Death.
Also on Shawshank Redemption and about a million other things. He's a Hollywood royalty type.
Yeah. Him, Bill and Ted, obviously. Him and Missy and
the dad.
Chief Logan. Those are the 5 original actors that came from all 3 movies. Are the only 5 that have been in all 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I love Death.
Respect.
Everybody in that movie was so brilliant. And can you believe we've already been talking an hour? So
what?
Oh, hi.
I'm not even.
No, we haven't. It's a half an hour. It's been a half an hour.
No, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
I can edit that.
You're
out.
high. It's okay.
Can I just Can I just
Get
say
out of the
that,
phone booth, Dub, and stop time traveling.
I like Death's house. I like how Death's house is like, like this
mid-century. What's something you don't know?
This Art Deco Frank Lloyd Wright house that you would find in Palm Springs is in the middle of hell.
Yes.
but there's just a door and no walls to get in there.
And I loved his bases. I look around. I have bases. Oh my God, that's like if I was in hell and I was dead, that's what my apartment would look like.
Too pale to cry.
Pale on pale.
Pale on pale.
I love the hopscotch.
Oh God!
Oh,
the tetherball to the head.
Tetherball.
Now, what you guys don't know about that, because I was watching the behind the scenes stuff, when he originally recorded the cheating at hopscotch, he almost had to be written off the movie. He tripped and broke his wrist.
Oh no!
That was the first thing they filmed.
It's hard to be a bass player if you've got a broken wrist. Oh, that's a bummer.
So they just rescheduled him?
They just worked it out.
Wow.
Which that's huge.
Yeah, well, you need that.
Oh, honestly, I don't. He's one of those. I mean, he wasn't in the first movie, but the second.
But he's in the second.
Yeah, but he became the franchise, and which was funny because
so funny.
Well, when they're arguing with him, well, you took 40-minute bass solos, and well, Wild Stallions was mine. I took it from you because it was mine.
Well, and then he's like,
that's what he did to the franchise,
right? And like, you're sitting there watching, and you don't know what's coming, and he's like, "Did the restraining order?"
Yeah.
I'm like, who takes a restraining order out on Death?
Okay, I would if I could.
Right? He's like, am I close enough now?
But
what is this?
Now, when you watch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, they mentioned that in the little newspaper things when they're playing "God Gave Rock and Roll to You," and it said, "Death goes solo, the world's stocks plummet." And then, nope, they got a reunion. The economy is well again, or something, some kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like, they just erased all of that, but they left that in for some weird reason.
Well, it could have been that other headline came in after this movie.
After the restraining order.
After the restraining order. Did it tickle anybody else that the door had a peephole? And then he asked.
There's no wall.
Asked who it was.
And it's not locked. It's not locked. He's in hell and it's not locked.
You sent our kids to hell?
Things like that.
I like the music nerd in me. Love the part where Jimi Hendrix doesn't want to have anything to do with him, so he walks down the hallway.
How did we miss all that?
And then all of a sudden, Satchmo plays a couple measures on his trumpet, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, hang on."
Did he just become RuPaul?
Jimmy
RuPaul?
Mozart cracked me up.
It was so good.
It was hilarious.
That mashup that they did.
You know, they cut like half of it, and I want to hear the whole damn
thing. Like, I want the whole
because you can hear the cuts in there, and it's like, no, play the whole thing.
Now,
I know it probably would have been like
just to let everybody know, if you go on Spotify, they do have Bill and Ted's Face the Music soundtrack, and the whole thing is on it.
Oh, it's so good! It's so good,
along with the wedding song as well.
Yes.
6 minutes and 53 seconds long.
Oh my God!
Is it?
Wow! It really. Come on, theremin.
I'm a huge theremin fan.
I know.
I think that. Please.
I do want to know. I want to know how many of those instruments they actually played. Because he comes on, he's playing the trumpet, and I'm like,
no, he's not.
Really good.
No, he's not. He's not.
I know.
That was actually my pet peeve.
Yeah.
My pet peeve with this film was it's a musician's film, and they did not pay attention to making the fingers and the fingering and the all of that match.
Look right.
Some of them were like blatantly nothing to do with what's going on in the
Reeves is a
music.
musician. He plays in a band. I mean,
that's editing. Yeah, but that's editing.
Yeah, he blew about 3 different tones on the center key. No.
on that thingamabobber.
Yeah.
On the thing,
I don't care about lip placement. You're not playing that good on the center key.
No.
Now,
and Satchmo, same thing. Satchmo was not matching up either, and Mozart was a little bit better, but still not matching. That's editing. Right there.
Oh yeah, if you watch the after credit scenes, it's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
And Mozart.
He's playing low E, and he's like way up here.
I'm like, it looks bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mozart peels off the harps.
I would be curious if they did that on purpose, kind of as an homage to that whole 80s, because there's that 80s, like we've never met before, but we're going to jam and make this amazing song, and our guitar licks are going to match perfectly in harmony because we know exactly where we're going to go. That's such an 80s thing. So maybe that was a nod.
Now, as far as the guest musicians that came in, Bill and Ted has a tradition, you could say. The first couple people they meet, they really explore the character. And then the longer it goes, the less like, oh, jump on in, we're good. Like the drummer, we don't know anything about the drummer. We don't really know anything about
They did that with the first movie, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, they did, yeah.
And I wish it would have, I want to see a little bit of that drummer, because that's kind of interesting. Yeah. That's the best
There's
drummer
just no
history.
time, I don't think. And I wonder in their minds if they're thinking, if we put those names out there, if we go best drummer in history, best flutist, whatever you want to say. There. Pardon?
I did not see Neil Peart there. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe they're trying to in the world of Google. You've got the entire world in the palm of your hand. That they're like, hey, look them up, check them out. Yeah. Let's put these people back into the.
It was a cave woman, so they didn't have a name.
But you know what?
Grum. My name is Grum.
One of the things I did like about the movie that you guys are pointing out now is that the daughters they seem much smarter than the fathers, because they knew who to go. They knew who to go get, and they knew who the people were. There was no teaching them. They had already studied the music, so I really liked that part too.
Yeah, I agree.
I did too, and I definitely wrote down like the flutists. They're on my Google list for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I thought was kind of cool is that when they brought in. We're not giving away the ending scene, but Bill and Ted, they still get to play. And when then the princesses come in and they play the same instruments they played in the Grand Canyon concert at the end of Bogus Journey, which I thought that was a nice touch that they did that. One's playing the violin, one's playing, I think, keyboards
or the guitar keyboard thing.
Yeah, the keytar.
Yeah.
The keytar.
Oh, the 90s.
Don't put that on the 90s. That's the 80s.
That's the 80s.
That's some Rick Wakeman playing with Yes on the. I can be a guitar player now.
I remember that being the 80s because one of the Gem and the Holograms girls had a guitar.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And I'm fairly certain I still have one in storage.
Do you have a guitar in storage?
I think I do.
Why is that not on? How much we've recorded together, and that is not on my wall.
Right, like Dub wants it now.
Right, I'll find it. I will get it. Clearly, I'm not using it.
we have, me and Christina have probably spent, I'd say, at least 100 hours in the studio together, and I did not know she had a guitar. I'm a little upset right now.
It's almost like coming out of the closet a little bit. I most people got rid of theirs. I still own mine, so
Hello, everyone. My name is Christina, and I
own a guitar.
Hi, Christina.
I know this is off topic, but those things are so much fun because you're playing your keys here, so you're playing your high notes right here.
Carl's like, no, I'm not buying it, man.
And then you got a whammy bar up here, so it's like the fretboard's a whammy bar, like to bend your notes. I'm like,
your definition of fun and my definition are two different things.
I will say it gets funner with shots involved.
That's different.
Any musical instrument gets a lot more fun with shots involved.
That's it right there.
Except for the violin, because too many of those, and you break your bow, and then you have to tell your mom what happened the next morning. I need a new bow. I'm just guessing.
I have a rule in the studio: singers get shots, musicians don't.
Nope.
And I will never get a shot.
Musicians always get a shot because they need it. Every musician I've ever
I was going to say
anyway.
Musicians shouldn't, because you gotta make your fingers do things.
Yeah, the musicians I never.
You got to think.
You got to think. Well, I mean, singers you got to think, but it's a different. Just a different. There's not an extra thing to play with and communicate with. You just got this.
It's reflexes.
It's reflex, exactly.
That's right.
So now that we went off of being family friendly, let's go way back to family friendly, which is something I thought was really cool. There was no F-bombs dropped in this movie.
No.
There was no S-bombs dropped in this movie.
Not one.
This movie could have been played on iHeartGeek and no one would complain.
Well, and I actually... I don't think there's any dams in there either.
I don't think there was a GD1.
I respect that.
Because
that made it funnier.
I think it was the robot. It was either robot or death, and something happened, and I fully expected the character to go, "Damn!" I think it was when Dennis shot everybody.
When he shoots him, when the
goes up.
He
said everything with his eyes.
I kept waiting for him to say, "Damn!" But all he kept saying was, "Oh no, oh no." So I was actually surprised. Like, there's no dirt. I don't think there's any dirty words in the movie at all. And I only think the word hell is in there because they're actually referring to hell.
To hell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's what made the "oh no" so much funnier, is because you were expecting that's going to be where I'm going to hear a curse word.
Right, I expected
a curse word. It was like my 6-year-old when they drop some, "oh no, oh no, oh no."
Yeah.
Getting bigger with it.
Yes.
But there is something to me so brilliant about that, and I think it's too like why do we not cuss on this show for a lot of reasons, but one of them being it makes you be funnier when you have to work your way around a cuss word. You have to work harder for it.
There it is.
And to me, that felt every bit as adult as a Kevin Smith movie. It felt every bit as dirty as a Kevin Smith movie, but there was nothing dirty in it. Nothing.
Nope, not really.
Nope.
That is a different kind of genius to me. I mean, I think it might even be the director, because it's the same guy that did Galaxy Quest, which will be it. We're doing that one, I think, next month. Yes,
that's
you're
my
on
favorite.
That one, Satomi.
Yes. I kept Galaxy. Okay, I won't go into it.
It's kind of the same thing, and I'm only bringing that up because I don't think there's any cussing in that. There is.
Nope.
It feels dirty,
is, but almost none.
But it feels dirty without ever crossing any line. And I think that is Hollywood ready for that again? Does America need that again?
Clearly,
yes. We're dealing.
We have so desensitized ourselves to everything.
This movie could not be more timely. Perfect. In every sense of the word. In the subject matter, in the the message, in the zaniness and ridiculousness and escapism, in the faith in humanity, in the apocalyptic themes. It could not be more timely.
And never went political on anything.
Not once.
Didn't need to.
And it would have been so easy to. And that would have ruined the movie for me. But it would have been so easy to, because
the bottom line is the theme of the movie, yes, is unity and being together. I mean, it's the last line that they speak in the film, but it's also about family.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they start out wanting to save humanity, then they kind of change wanting to save their marriages, and then they have to save their kids. So I mean,
you're right.
It's not just about humanity, but it's deep down. It's about family.
You're gonna make me cry again.
No, it is. I miss family movies that aren't Disney.
Yep.
At all. And this did not feel Disney at all. This felt like the same movie that me and Skeeter watched when we were teenagers, and we thought we were rebels watching this. there is nothing that is offensive about it at all.
No.
It was perfect. And I think
you know what I will say. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Skeeter.
I think one of the biggest things is like I'm a music guy. Musical theater is my thing. I've been doing it since I was 6 years old. But like they needed to find the song to unite the world, like to unite everyone. Took everything out. They needed music, not a song. It wasn't a song. There was no lyrics. It was music.
Music.
If we were to stop talking right now, and somebody played Judy Garland singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, we would freeze and smile because that's it. And I think that's what this movie did for everyone. Everyone anywhere that is ever going to watch this movie, like the power of music, the power of family, it was just amazing. I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I'm
actually being a little touched right now, honestly, and I'm not joking. I'm like a little touched right now.
I have to agree with Skeeter on that 100%. I love the idea of music fixing it.
Yeah.
It's the great unifier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that idea. I love that idea.
I like when they stopped focusing on the big things, and it was the little things that became important. That by focusing on those, they actually fixed the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And without getting too serious, I mean that's like a real life lesson.
You fixed your part and nobody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone had their one part, and if no one bothered with anybody else's part, everything got good.
I also
think about the little thing that happened at the very when it happened, what took them to what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Think about what was given. It wasn't this huge thing. It was that big.
Little bitty thing.
Yep.
Little flash.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I also think it explains 2020 because they just haven't written the song yet.
They're in the booth.
You could get on that. I'd appreciate it.
In the booth.
I thought it had something to do with the doctor and the fixed point of time and stuff. So I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Or they need the guitar.
They need your guitar.
I'm going to start playing the guitar, and that's going to fix everything, guys. You're welcome.
It is the power of the guitar.
I need that 40-minute bass out of you there, Dub.
Okay. See, Skeeter's seen me on stage, and Christina's seen me on stage. I have no issue with doing a 40-minute on the bass. Zero issue with that.
Yeah.
But can you do a 40-minute guitar solo?
I'm not there yet. Because that's only one hand and a bend.
We would just have to sit for 4 hours, listen to a Yes LP.
Yes.
It would be good to go. He'd be fully powered up. Like,
suddenly I'm playing Order of a Lonely Heart over and over again. Oh, wow. We have just went obscure reference after obscure reference today.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, I apologize to all our younger listeners. Blythe, I know you didn't get 90% of these jokes. Here, let me fix it for you. Baby Yoda, Millennials, and...
The Goonies are terrible.
The Goonies are terrible. You're welcome, Blythe, and I don't agree with it, but yeah.
No, we don't agree with any of it.
Nope.
That's for Blythe.
Oh, that's for Blythe. So, yeah.
So it wasn't actually. I did some research on some fun stuff, and Wikipedia, since it's the power of all, it actually has like a list of who auditioned for Bill and Ted.
Oh,
back in the day, and I was amazed that Pauly Shore had an opportunity.
He would have been so terrible.
He would have been awful. I mean, it makes sense. But...
Matt Dillon for Bill.
I gotta look this up. You said it was on Wikipedia?
I'm in love with this.
Yeah. Wikipedia for Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Look at the original who auditioned. It was like not Joaquin, but River Phoenix.
River Phoenix, because he wasn't dead yet.
Yeah, Pauly Shore for Bill or for Ted.
That'd been terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just like, whoa.
Okay.
Like, close your eyes for a minute and think about that one.
Well, close your eyes and think about this, and put yourself back to even at your age, but the first time you saw Bill and Ted.
At your age.
Even at our age now, and I'm saying that for a reason. So you go back and you watch Bill and Ted, and who do you think should have been the bigger star? And honestly, you go back and you watch.
I think Alex Winter.
Alex Winter should have been huge. And Keanu Reeves, he's wooden. Whoa.
Lost Boys. Hello.
And he had such a minor part in that.
Minor, but he was huge. Like,
yeah. But that
what happened after
hair.
And then what happened?
Oh my gosh, the mullet.
But now he gets to hang out and say, "Hey, Keanu, can I get a part in your next movie, bud?"
No, if you take a look though, he does a lot of directing and producing.
Yeah, he does a lot
of directed
of
a lot of Ben 10 things he's done.
He just seems like he's such a great actor.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something he's ever going to get the credit for that he deserves.
Yeah.
I mean, out of the duo, he is the better actor. And he's enjoyable to watch. He's a good-looking guy, but I don't know where the disconnect was, where they said, okay, well, let's Johnny Mnemonic, versus Lost Boys, whichever one won on that.
Probably tall, dark, and handsome. I mean, do you look at how
and
tall?
Constantly, and still 20 years old even though he's like 79.
Right.
Well,
he's never going to get any older.
Luck. Sometimes it's just luck or right place, right time, or
good agent.
Good agent, or
humility.
Feeling ready for it.
Big time.
Well, humility, but also you can like it's bad self-esteem yourself into not having a career too. Yeah. So there's so much that goes into it.
But one thing I really love about both of these guys, and this is anytime you see about anything about them in the news, either of them, you're like, I want to be a person that's like Alex Winter or like Keanu Reeves. Just good people. And that's, again, going back to the family thing we were talking about earlier, this is amazing to me. They've given us heroes. They've given us people to look up to.
Yeah.
By being who they are. And then they make a movie that's given us something to look up to without even. And I don't think any of us realized how much we were looking up to this until we had this conversation. I don't think anybody in this room realized how much we looked up to all this. And like, wow, yeah, that is amazing. They're telling a good story. They're giving us hope.
Keanu Reeves was my first crush.
Oh.
In Bill and Ted's Excellent
I would have
Adventure.
thought it would have been on Point Break.
No, I was 12 years old when Bill and Ted's came out, and I just had the biggest crush on Keanu Reeves, and it has lasted for 30 years because I still think he's the most adorable thing ever. Nice.
Okay, so usually when we close these things up, we say, well, what did you think about going? What would you rate this when you went into it with the nostalgia, and what did you rate it after you watched it again? So because it's a new movie, this is how I want to do it, and we already talked about that in the beginning. We're gonna take all three movies, and you got to give them one grade after watching the new one today. So I'll do mine first, actually, and I'm going.
Do they all have to be different grades, like ranking?
Nope.
Okay.
As far as all three, you're putting it together as a trilogy, as one movie.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give all three movies together, and the thing that hurt it was Bogus Journey, but I'm going to give it a B+, and that's we got 2 A+ and a C+. So, yeah, I mean, and that to me is pretty high praise for a trilogy. That's hard to keep up to. Let's start with. I'm going to finish off with Courtney. So, Christina, what do you rate these as? What grade?
So this is going to speak volumes for the third movie because I'm not a fan, and I was really surprised that Dub had actually asked me to be on this one of all of them. But solid B-. Like. Really, really watched it twice. Makes me actually want to go back and watch it as a trilogy. So Sean is thrilled. Mr. Mustache Man.
Oh, he's going to be really happy. And you got to braid that while you're doing it, too.
Yeah.
Well, look like he's in a jailhouse.
That's our Saturday. We're going to actually watch them. And so I will watch it a third time in 24 hours.
That's outstanding. Skeet?
I'm going to go with B+. I think we dipped with Bogus Journey. But we did get introduced to death, and that changed some things.
Yeah.
But they brought it back really strong. reconnection, rekindling some great memories
and great nostalgia. Yeah,
totally. And so B+, solid. Well done,
Mr. Black Geek.
I'm going to give it a solid B. It, like I said, number 2 kind of took us at a dip, and then if you're looking at it in a trilogy, you got to rank it against things like the Back to the Future trilogy. So.
Yeah.
I think
that's tough, man. That's rough.
Same kind of genre, though. So,
so but think about it. If you're Einstein throws off the curve, sorry.
But think about it. If you're getting a B ranked against the Back to the Future trilogy, you're not doing bad.
No.
Yeah.
No. Honestly, I can't think of another trilogy outside like the Star Wars universe, and like that. Lost in Time stuff. That I can think of that I would give a B+ to, because it's never been that consistently good. But so yeah,
I'd say Indiana Jones, but that's just because we're not counting Crystal Skull as that.
But you can't count that as
there was a Crystal Skull. What?
Right.
Oh,
well played,
Miss Satomi.
I'm with you guys on the B+, and for me, it's the first one was an A. The second one was like a C+. And again, Death, like Skeeter said, great character. And then this one is like an A+++. This one goes to 11. So I think this one just kind of pulled the whole trilogy up for me.
Nice.
I loved it. I loved it.
And finally, Miss Geeky Page. I haven't called that forever.
Courtney S. Preston Esquire.
The first.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a B+ for the same reasons that everybody else did. Number 1 is an A. Bogus Journey was not my favorite, but this one just pulls the whole thing back up again. So B+, good family fun.
Outstanding. As always, I'm gonna give Satomi a chance to plug her Broadway Hearts. Talk to us about Broadway Hearts real quick.
BroadwayHearts.org, incredible charity started by some fellow Broadway performers. We have sing-alongs with kids in hospitals, and we actually create content requests from kids who are like at Ronald McDonald House. And then we have a scholarship program that gives them a year of lessons and materials in an art form of their choice. You can check them out at BroadwayHearts.org. You can also check out my YouTube page and my website at SatomiHoffman.com.
Nice. And if anybody else has, I don't think any of the rest of us have anything like that cool to plug. To go to our Patreon. We are going to be going nuts on that. You want more episodes like this? Support our Patreon. Patreon, to do our Redbubble and our Amazon and all that stuff. You guys know where to find it.
You know the deal.
In about 2 minutes, the music will be going and then you'll see all the links, so you can go to it from there. But definitely get into supporting the Patreon. You support that more, we're gonna have a lot more movie episodes. We're gonna have a lot more. We're gonna be able to do a lot more content if we have a certain number of subscribers we have to have. But as soon as we hit that number, we're probably talking, at least another episode or 2 a week. So I'm just saying, not guilting you into anything.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
I totally am. Love y'all. I'm Dub. Let's see if we can figure out how to do this. You can't see where I'm pointing at.
Just say our name.
I'm Carl.
Carl. The Black Geek Carl, we have Miss Satomi, we have Courtney, we have Skeeter, and we have Christina. We love y'all. Thank you, everybody, for showing up, and keep on geeking on, guys.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. Make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.